I hear that the Vice President is coming out. Can we take that live shot?
And today, I will be spending the rest of the day here on the ground in Michigan talking with voters and reminding them of the stakes and reminding them of the power they possess to actually determine the outcome of this election and the direction of our country. So I'm very much looking forward to today and the next 48 hours.
Todd,
any questions?
Vice President, do you have any closing argument for Arab American voters and voters in the Muslim community as to why they should vote for you in this election?
Sure, absolutely. Well, first of all, I'm honored to have the support of many Arab American leaders who represent the interests and the concerns also of the Arab American community. But I also know well enough to know it is not a monolith. There are many issues that are the issues that all Americans face, and then, of course, some that are specific to what is happening in Gaza. And on the subject of Gaza, I have been very clear the level of death of innocent Palestinians is unconscionable. We need to end the war, and we need to get the hostages out. And as President of the United States, I will do everything in my power to achieve that end and a two-state solution where Palestinians will have the right to self-determination and security and stability in the region. But again, the issues are as varied as they are for any voter. It includes that. But it is also about bringing down the cost of living. It is about supporting small businesses in the community. It is about bringing down the cost of housing, groceries, extending the child tax credit. These are issues that resonate in that community as well as every other community. And I will continue to speak to members of that community and to ask for their vote, which I hope I earn.
Alex?
Thank you. Alex?
Alex,
I'm Lauren.
sorry. You have the same last name as someone else. Oh, keep going.
You know, it is 48 hours out. Everyone's a little tired. Who was with us last night? You're right. Few sleep deprived. Please.
Simply, how are you feeling, and have you submitted your ballot?
I am feeling great. I am looking forward to these next 48 hours to continue to talk with the voters and talk about the stakes and talk about the future of our country, which I think is bright when we are working with the same spirit of building community, building coalitions, and building the strength of our economy and our country. I actually just filled out my mail-in ballot, so I have voted.
Darlene?
Madam Vice President, have you returned the ballot to California, and how did you vote on Prop 36?
So my ballot is on its way to California, and I'm going to trust the system that it will arrive there. And I am not going to talk about the vote on that because, honestly, it's the Sunday before the election, and I don't intend to create an endorsement one way or another around it. So, but I did vote.
Nandita?
Thank you. Madam Vice President, Donald Trump prematurely claimed victory in 2020. Just his comments in the past few days seem to suggest, that he's thinking about it. How will you and your campaign respond if he does the same thing again?
So here we are on the Sunday before the election, and I would ask, in particular, people who have not yet voted, to not fall for his tactic, which I think includes suggesting to people that if they vote, their vote won't matter. Suggesting to people that somehow the integrity of our voting system is not intact so that they don't vote. And again, I think that it is a tactic. It is meant to distract from the fact that we have and support free and fair elections in our country. We did in 2020. He lost. And the systems that are in place for this election in 2024 have integrity. They are good systems, and the vote of the people will determine the outcome of this election, and everyone must know that their vote is their power to determine the outcome of the election, and their vote will count. It does matter.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thanks, you all.
Thank you.
All right, you've been watching Vice President Kamala Harris taking questions from reporters as she stumps in Michigan. She says she's honored to have the support of many Arab American voters a big coalition of them there. But she knows they are not a monolith, saying many are concerned about the situation in Gaza. She says the level of death of innocent Palestinians, in her words, unconscionable, saying we need to end the war and bring the hostages home. A similar refrain when people interrupt her, when protesters have interrupted her on the stump, she says that as well. She went on to talk about the importance of bringing down the cost of living. She mentioned housing, child tax credit. I want to bring back in ABC's Perry Russum and Zoreen Shah right now. Zoreen, so sorry to interrupt you, but we are going to continue to take both of the candidates as they speak to reporters and as they go to their rallies, especially just a couple days ahead of the election. So what do you make of the vice president's closing message there, specifically to Arab American voters, and how critical is that demographic in Michigan?
Yeah, incredibly critical. I mean, there's close to 200,000 Arab and Muslims in that region. She also added she wants a two-state solution. She wants stability in the region. But Phil, you heard our panel just a few hours ago where there was a group of Muslim and Arabs, and one woman said that she has her ballot sitting in her house. She hasn't filled it out yet. She hasn't decided which way she's going to vote. And I've heard from multiple people in Michigan, in swing states, that they haven't filled out their ballot yet. They're waiting for possibly one last thing that she can say. They're still hoping that she can say something more. They're looking for more from her when it comes to that very issue. But of course, Harris keeping in line with what she has been saying this entire time on that issue, and then stressing that there is not just one issue in Michigan, that there is the issue of the cost of living, of supporting small businesses, of bringing down the cost of living. So really emphasizing all those points.
And Perry, both Trump and Harris are holding events in key battleground states later today. Tell us what we can expect.
Yeah, you know, one thing real quick, though, it's really interesting to see the side-by-side between Harris and Trump today, where you have Harris who's being very reserved, very careful, not wanting to answer the question on the proposition vote that she did in California, not wanting to make any headlines 2 days out on the Sunday before, Election Tuesday. And on the other side, you have Trump, who's just making waves left and right. He's saying that he's weaving on purpose, and when he's weaving is when he's making some of these different headlines. But later today for Trump, I mean, he already spoke in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, rural and red, a rural and red county. Kinston, North Carolina, later today, rural and red. And then Macon, Georgia, later tonight, which is also rural and red. So right now it seems like he's trying to coalesce the rural vote in some of these swing states to try and win on Tuesday, Phil.
All right, Perry Russum and Zoreen Shah, thank you both.